What you're about to hear is an audio that was recorded some 10 or 12 years ago. Take a couple of minutes. It can change your life.
Congratulations, you must be an extra sharp person if you are listening. Who needs more energy? The answer, everyone. That question is what led to the creation of Xtra Sharp. In the next few minutes, you will be hearing about Xtra Sharp, an energy drink that is sweeping across America. Today, we are in the studio with several individuals that are extra sharp. We will be talking with them in a moment. First, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Keith Hooper. My background is that of a farmer and businessman for the past 30 years. Entrepreneur with Immunotech Research Limited for the past 6. Immunotech Research being the manufacturer and distributor of Xtra Sharp. When Xtra Sharp was introduced in February of this year, I was sure that it was a product and an opportunity that I wanted to be a part of. The energy that everyone in Canada who was taking Xtra Sharp was getting made me sure that I wanted it, and I wanted it now. And the fact that there is no caffeine, no sugar, no ephedrine or marwang, in other words, any of the bad stuff is not in Xtra Sharp, only affirmed that feeling. The energy is not like that which you get from other so-called energy boosters that have stimulants that cause jitters and edginess, and are also loaded for the most part with huge amounts of sugar. Xtra Sharp is smooth and controlled. It's like having a very good day, which is what I feel like when I take Xtra Sharp. I like that feeling, and most people do as well. The other results I have gotten are amazing, but we will be speaking today only about energy. Now I would like to introduce Greg Brown. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Keith.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing great.
Great. Now we'll go over here to Valerie Lacey. Good morning, Valerie.
Good morning.
I understand you're our Zoom lady.
Oh, yes, zooming.
We'll go talk about that in a moment. And Mr. Ed Lacey. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Keith. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. We'll go back to Greg here for a moment. Greg, why don't you give us a little bit of your background in the martial arts?
I'm a martial arts instructor. I own and operate Brown's Martial Arts Academy in Merced, California. I'm a third-degree black belt in Weiche-Ryu Karate.
Great, and I understand you have a school with quite a few adults in it, and you've been sharing Xtra Sharp with them?
Yes, I've been sharing Xtra Sharp for about a month and a half now. I've found that the students really get an energy kick out of it, and they find the product very exciting.
And I know you were talking about one of your students, Bobby Alcorn.
Yes, Bobby Alcorn is very sensitive to just about any product there is. I gave him a shot of Xtra Sharp, and he was reluctant to take it, but he finally took it and absolutely loved it. The next morning, he came back and got another shot before he ran off to work.
That's great. Now, also, why don't you share a little bit about John Newman, another one of your students there. Now, John's about 40, is that right?
Yeah, John, he started taking the product when I gave Bobby a shot, and everybody was talking about it, so he decided he was going to give it a try. And then John took it to work with him and started sharing the product at work.
Now, would you say John would probably be considered an elite athlete because of his workout schedules?
Oh, absolutely. John is a very elite athlete. He works out in my facility, then he goes and works out with his wife at a local gym in Merced before he takes off to work.
That's great. Well, like I say, so you've had some positive response from the people you shared it with so far.
Oh, absolutely.
Great. We'll come back to you in a moment. Now, Valerie, why don't we talk about this Zoom a little bit and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm of Merced College. I'm a counselor there. I'm also an instructor at Merced College. When I first got the Xtra Sharp, I took it in the morning. 20 minutes later, driving to work, I reached work, put a key in the door, and I just felt more alert. And from that point on, I just said, zoom. So that's how I came about with that.
So you've been taking Xtra Sharp for about a month and a half?
About a month and a half, yes.
Great. Now, have you noticed anything else interesting with Xtra Sharp?
Yeah, what happened was I wasn't sure of when to take it. I only knew that it would give me that extra edge that I needed, so I took it in the mornings only. I guess around after 2 o'clock, I would begin to feel down. Well, I wouldn't take it at that time. I really like to have it in the morning. I took it for approximately a week, and I noticed that I decreased in appetite. And I looked at the clock, and I'm going, oh my goodness, I didn't have a snack. So I would go ahead and force myself to eat. I wasn't hungry. I had energy, and I wasn't feeling, just tired or, out of whack.
Yeah, we've had some other people give us the same feedback regarding that appetite part of it. Now, you have a daughter that you have taking Xtra Sharp as well, and why don't you give us a little input on how that came about?
Yeah, she's small, very petite. She's 20 years old. When she first took the Xtra Sharp, it had an effect on her where it just did not affect her. The second time she took it, she wasn't aware of what it was supposed to do, but she knew that she started talking. She was very talkative. That was a sign of energy for her.
And she's been satisfied with it ever since.
Oh, yes, she sure has.
Correct. Now, Ed, I know you work for the county of Merced, and why don't you give us a little bit of your background on what you've noticed here with Xtra Sharp?
Yes, I am employed with Merced County right now. I formerly was with the United States Air Force. I retired in 1988. When I first took it, there was no effect. The gentleman who gave it to me, a real good friend of mine, said, take it again. And I took it, didn't get an effect, so I took another ounce the next day. And at that time, about 6 weeks ago, we were practicing for a drama, and it required me to be in practice from after working all day to about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. No problem. Xtra Sharp kept me going through all that practice time. It was great.
And I know you've shared it with some other people since then, and we'll get back to that. Now I'd like to go back to Greg. And Greg, you and I were down in Los Angeles about a week ago doing a seminar with the martial arts industry. Why don't you share us a little bit about what that was about?
Yes. Keith and I went down to the National Association of Professional Martial Artists conference down there, and we set up a booth down there, and we were giving away Xtra Sharp samples. And what we've found is people were coming up left and right, getting samples and taking the product.
Now, what we noticed with that is that we were giving it to them for 2 days, and the people came back on the second day was when a lot of them noticed the response, correct?
Yeah, that was the biggest response is when they came back on the second round. And because most of them wanted to experience and find out if what they were experiencing was real or not.
Now, these were the elite in the martial arts industry? These were the type of people there?
Yes, there are a bunch of elite athletes and martial arts school owners down there looking at different products.
Now, I know there was one group of ladies that were there that was some type of elite performance in martial arts, and why don't you tell us a little bit about them?
These martial artists, basically, they're called UBC girls. They're Ultimate Body Shaping Group. One of the girls named Jill, she came over and she had a really long flight from Florida. And what she did was she asked us for a sample of the product, and we gave it to her. Then the next day she came back and she brought about 4 or 5 other girls with her to take the product as well.
So they were pretty excited about it?
Yes, you know, they're very in shape, they're very athletic, and I didn't know what kind of effect it would have on them. But we found out it had a very positive effect.
Okay. Now, I know you weren't prepared for this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. I know that one of the gentlemen on Sunday that took it right before he left was extremely tired and then went to his regular job besides being a karate studio owner. Why don't you share a little bit about that?
Well, this gentleman, he came up to me and he was exhausted because he was up all night long. By the way, he's a bounty hunter. That's his other job. This is his full-time job. And he came up to me and told me he was absolutely, totally exhausted. And I gave him a dose of this stuff, and he goes, no, I want a full 1 ounce shot. And I said, okay. So he took this 1 ounce shot, and then I poured him 2 more for later on. Well, before he hit the door, he had it all in him. He called me up and says, I want to thank you for the Xtra Sharp. And I said, well, why is that, Frank? He says, because it saved my life. It made me sharp. It made me focused, and I could handle a situation that came up that night that was really compromising.
So his opinion was it really saved his life, and that was non-solicited. In fact, when he called you, you were concerned that he had taken too much.
Yeah, I thought he overdosed on it, but he told me this, and he just was calling to thank me, and it was totally unsolicited.
So it's been some exciting things have happened with you.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Ed, I know it at work because with your job, you're helping people back into the workforce for the second time, and in some cases the third time. Some of the people at work and some of the responses you've gotten.
Well, I've got varied response from several people. The ones that come to mind right now, I shared it one day with 3 people at the same time. And I just told them, just try it. I'm not going to tell you what to expect because it differs with different people. But just come back in about 20, 30 minutes and let me know how you feel. Positive or negative, I don't care. Just let me know how you feel. And this one lady came back and said, and about 25 minutes later, she came back and says, okay, Mr. Smarty Pants, how do I get this stuff? She takes any and everything that comes her way because she needs help physically, but she says she's never taken anything that responded so well, so quickly as Xtra Sharp did.
Now, she was the lady that was running around the office. Is that what, doing the filing, or was that someone else you were telling me about?
That's another personality. Her name's Frances. I gave it to her, and as a matter of fact, she had been taking it for about 2 weeks now, but she ran out. And this particular day, she had been asking me to order some more. I was waiting for a shipment to come in, and I didn't have it yet. Last Thursday, as a matter of fact, she was working frantically around the office. And what I didn't know is that she was trying to get all of her work done on Thursday so she could have Friday off and have a long weekend. But I didn't know that. So I just said, Frances, you're running around here like you're on Xtra Sharp. If I didn't know that you didn't have any, I would have thought you was taking Xtra Sharp. She said, I am. I had 1 ounce left. I've been saving and for today. And that's what she was doing. She said she was feeling the results of Xtra Sharp.
So actually what we should do is charge the employers to get this to give it to their employees, right?
They would make a killing. People work longer and harder for them.
Now, we're going to go to some people on the phones, but before we do that, does anyone else have anything else they'd like to add? Yes, Valerie.
You know, in this time, a lot of people are very health conscious. And on my job, we're all looking at labels, what we're eating, what we're putting into our bodies. And I think that's what really got their attention, because this is herbal and it's natural. And women like myself that are over 50 have a lot of things to do, very active. This is really something that's God sent.
That's great. Ed, do you have anything else you'd like to add at this time?
I kind of concur with what Valerie was saying. People are really label conscious, and when they look at the labels on this Xtra Sharp product, they see only healthy, nutritious things. None of the sugar, none of the bad stuff, only the good stuff. And that helps to sell the product, helps to promote the product, because I don't have to sell it. I just give it away, and they keep coming back.
And I'm a nurse. You know, I used to teach medical terminology. So I'm very particular about what I do, what I take, and who I give things to. I like to know and sample things before I even, start to advertise it or give it away.
So you would have no problem giving this to anyone?
Oh, absolutely not.
That's great. Greg, do you have anything else you wanted to add?
Well, I have to agree with that, because the first thing that my students looked at was the label, and they were concerned whether or not there was caffeine, mawang, ephedrine in it, and I told them there wasn't, and that really made it a lot easier to take. And when they took it, they said, I don't feel jittery, I don't feel anything but just energy, and I want to go.
That's great. We'd like to thank all of you for being here this morning. And now we'd like to go to the phones with Janice Miller down in Corona, California. And good afternoon, Janice. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm doing great.
How's everything down in Corona, California?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's beautiful and sunny, and we're just enjoying the day, and I'm enjoying sharing this wonderful product, Xtra Sharp, with women at lunch right now, so you caught me right in the middle of lunch, which is a great time. I was introduced to the Xtra Sharp product, and I knew it was an energy drink, and I knew anybody needed more energy, especially me. My husband, of course, he works from the home office, and he's always needing energy. So we tried the product, and we definitely felt the detoxification and had some great results. And within a short time, I shared it with a good girlfriend of mine who I'm doing lunch with right now, Veronica. And she had immediate response to the product. She said, oh, my God, Janice, this is fabulous. And she said, you got to share it with my brother, Peter. And so she did. I actually sent him 2 bottles. And as a matter of fact, I understand yesterday he sold 100 bottles of this product, because the product is amazing, and it just does wonderful, great things to your body. And some people feel an immediate response, and I just shared it with another woman at our lunch table, and she said, oh, I tried something like this years and years ago, but it was not quite like this, because this is very, very powerful. I would say out of everybody that you share this with, 9 out of 10 will have an immediate response to the product, and the other 1 will probably go into detox like I did, and it takes a few more days. But this Xtra Sharp drink is definitely a gift from our Creator, and thank you for letting me share.
Well, that's fabulous, Janice. We appreciate you taking the time out of your Saturday here to join us, and thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Keith.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Janice. And now we're going to go all the way across the country to Hollywood, Florida, and Peter LeBerry. Good afternoon, Peter.
Hi, Keith. How you doing today, my friend?
Good. Are you Xtra Sharp today?
Oh, my gosh. Beyond Xtra Sharp.
Well, good. Well, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you became Xtra Sharp?
Well, actually, this month is my 14th year anniversary being in the nutritional network marketing industry. And for that many years, I've been with a few companies, not very many, and I've pretty much been exposed to a number of different products out there, some of them very, very good nutritional products. But I'll tell you, this Xtra Sharp product is just on a whole different level compared to what else is out there in the marketplace today. In fact, when my sister introduced me to it just over a month ago, and I read the ingredients and I started using it for the first time, my life has never, ever been the same. I really believe, Keith, that I found the mother lode, the goose that laid the golden egg, and the magic elixir.
Well, that's pretty phenomenal. All-in-one product, Xtra Sharp.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you see this going, and what are some people telling you about it?
Well, it's absolutely amazing. Every single person that I've gotten on this product over the last 3 weeks, from the very first time that they had an opportunity to try it, either 1 or 2 tablespoons or 1 or 2 ounces for the first time, every single person, including myself, started noticing that energized, euphoric, vibrant, rejuvenated feeling of well-being. And it just keeps getting better and better the more we use the product. It truly is a tremendous gift that we've been blessed with, Keith.
And in the past 3 weeks, you've introduced this to about 20, 25 people, is that right?
Actually, about 27. And have sold, oh my gosh, I mean, it's the easiest thing I've ever done, because the product is really what's doing most of the work for us. Once people start using it, they can't help but feel that they're morally obligated to share it with the people in their circle of influence that they really love and care about, because you genuinely want those people to feel the same way you've been feeling. But in answer to your question, out of the few 27 people so far in the last 3 weeks, we've gone through a total, oh my gosh, of almost 300 bottles of the stuff.
So pretty phenomenal results for you in Hollywood,
I
Florida.
mean, phenomenal. I can't even begin to think of the word to describe how truly extraordinary this product really is, and the just tremendous results that so many people are experiencing on it. And what's really exciting about it, I really see from a product point of view, there's nothing out there that can even come close to this product in terms of personal results. From a business opportunity point of view, oh man, we're about to see an extraordinary wave sweep this country and eventually the entire world. So those people that have the foresight, that have the eyes that can see as opposed to eyes that just look, please get on this product. And when you get on it, you'll understand why so many of us are so passionate about it.
Well, Peter, we want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us on this call.
My pleasure, Keith.
Thank you very much, Peter LeBerry in Hollywood, Florida.
Bye now.
Okay, bye-bye. And now we're going to go to Atwater, California for Mike Taves. Good morning, Mike.
Morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine. Nice Monday morning here in Atwater.
Are you an Xtra Sharp kind of guy?
You bet. I'm committed.
Well, now I know that you came to Xtra Sharp because of another product from Immunotech, Magistral, but we can kind of touch on that another day. But can you kind of tell us what your feelings have been with Xtra Sharp?
I'd be happy to. Actually, I was introduced to this product by you towards the end of February, and by nature I'm not a skeptical person. However, I have checked out a few different product lines, and when I tried the product, I instantaneously noticed something within just a couple of minutes, and it was positive. So in an effort to make sure that this product just wasn't something that I wanted it to be, in other words, something that I would be hopeful for, I have several employees. I lined them all up. There was about 6 of us, and I gave everybody a little sample of this product. Well, out of the 6 employees, there was 5 that noticed something within the next few minutes. And that something was maybe just a boost of energy, maybe just an overall feeling better within 10 or 15 minutes. And so the one person that was either skeptical or didn't notice anything, it was ironic that the next day he came to me and he said, do you have any more of that? I'd like to try another drink. But actually, the results have been positive from everybody that I have shared it with. All of my employees are on it. And what I have noticed personally is that I have a little better energy. I have a tremendous amount of stress, and nowadays I think everybody can relate to that. We're always going in every different directions, and people are working hard, and the stress level can be high, and what I've noticed is it kind of takes the stress off a little bit. It helps in that way. So there's just an overall feeling better from taking the product. The other thing I noticed is that I feel like maybe perhaps my appetite maybe was a little suppressed. I haven't wanted to eat some of the junk food that, I mentioned being stressful and not a lot of time, and so I'd find myself maybe eating some of the things that I shouldn't be eating or going into a fast food place. Well, what this did is it made me so that I just didn't have an appetite for some of that. And so I've taken actually 3 belt sizes off of my waistline since the end of February. So I'm not going to tout this as a product that is going to help someone lose weight, and yet that's what has happened to me. One of my other employees has had a similar reaction. Then I have another employee who is on the product. He really doesn't need to lose weight, and he hasn't lost the weight, but he has an overall, he feels better just taking the product. And if you want to know if the product is working or not, you just go without the product for a few days, and that's when you'll really notice what it's doing for you. But I'd encourage people to try it and find out what their own story is. Again, I wasn't skeptical, but I did want to test the product. And I just won't be without the product right now. I'm very happy that I have it, and I'm happy to share it with someone. And everybody will have their own story eventually, but I think it's all real positive.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. Have an extra sharp day.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
Bye.
Now going to go to Missouri to Lois Elaine Hawker and find out how extra sharp everyone is in Missouri this morning. Good morning, Lois.
Good morning, Keith.
How are you this morning?
I'm just great. And I think the Extra Sharp is great also. I have used it myself and find that it definitely gives me more energy, enough that I don't want to take it late at night. And I also have a friend, a very close friend, who has been on nutrition with me for 30 years, and she has low blood sugar, which is hypoglycemia, and I had asked her if she would try it, and I can honestly say it is the very first thing that has ever given her more energy. And they were getting ready to take a trip the other day, and she said, I have to have some of that. I can get so much done now. So I think there's lots of places for people to use it. And her husband is a retired school teacher and helps a fellow on the farm to milk early in the morning. And he's very dedicated to taking it also.
So everyone you know loves Extra Sharp, huh?
Well, yeah. Well, everybody that's tried it.
That's phenomenal. All right. We appreciate you taking the time on this Monday morning for us.
Okay.
So thank you again, Lois.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Keith.
Now we're going to go to Kansas City, Missouri, and we're going to speak with Cynthia Burrier, Vice President of Immunotech's Medical Division. Good morning, Cynthia.
Good morning, Keith.
How are you this morning? Extra sharp, I hope?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful and for sure very extra sharp.
Great. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about how Immunotech got involved with this Extra Sharp product.
Well, I've been with the company since our beginning 6 years ago, and what we do is we focus on advanced biotech research. We particularly specialize in the development of new health technologies, and Extra Sharp is one of those products. It has an exclusive blend of herbs and minerals to give you a real kick or boost energy-wise, and it's in a highly concentrated and fast-acting drink that you only take a tablespoon or two a day when needed. Unlike a lot of companies, we don't send you mostly water and very little of the actual product so that you have to take a lot to get the results that we talk about. It only takes a tablespoon or two.
That's great. Now, what kind of results have you noticed on the Extra Sharp?
Well, I definitely notice a difference through the middle of the afternoon. I take a shot of it because that's kind of when I always notice my downtime. And I think a lot of people do. You know, when you work on developing products that meet what today's world is in need of, one of those things is everyone needs enough energy. And given that our busy lifestyles, whether it's your job or deadlines at work that call for maybe doing some overtime,
parenting and those endless carpools, second jobs, or just plain recreational professional activities, I think all of us find we could use a little bit more energy.
Well, that's great. I know that we've had a lot of fun with it here in California, and I know across the country things are going pretty well with it.
Well, you know, what we found is typically people turn to coffee, and I'm sure you can attest to that. But what works after you've had a double espresso? So what we found as a company is when you need an extra edge or an energy rush, the answer we found is Xtra Sharp. And the good news is that it's natural, completely safe, non-addictive approach with no side effects. So I hope all of you use your Xtra Sharp today.
All right. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for listening. You now have 3 options.
Thank you for listening. You've been listening to an audio that was done some 12 or 13 years ago. Thank you for listening. You just heard an audio that was recorded some 12 or 13 years ago when Xtra Sharp was new to the market. We now have literally thousands of people who are using Xtra Sharp and getting that benefit. And you can too. Get back to the person that shared this with you. Tell them you want to get some. Get some Xtra Sharp coming. Change your life. Change your financial future, your family's future. Get these benefits of not only Xtra Sharp, but as well as our other great products.